Believe it or not, the 2023 Pittsburgh Pirates are fun. Simply put, the Pirates have been unfathomably horrendous for the last 7 years, and especially so over the last 2 seasons. 201 losses combined in 2021 and 2022 is nearly as many as the Houston Astros have lost in double the time. Armed with a roster headlined by an exciting young star, newly acquired veterans, the return of an aging local folk hero, and a shortstop the size of a skyscraper, there are no shortage of reasons to keep an eye on the Pirates this year. It's 2 weeks into the season, a little premature to be talking Pirates baseball like this. Literally, the day after I wrote that last line about that skyscraper shortstop O'Neal Cruz, he broke his ankle. But I feel like that only supports the main idea here, and that's that we should appreciate and savor these times while they're here. Pirates fans know all too well that when you let this man cook, there's no limit to just how fast things can spiral. So let's talk Pirates baseball, and why this 2023 Pirates team may have just enough magic. Spoon is the sponsor of today's video. I really love working with companies whose products I'd use myself, and in that spirit, I want to talk to you about Magic Spoon, who's managed to somehow combine both quality ingredients and taste into one great package. I'm 6'5", 240, finding high quality protein sources to fill my diet and help build muscle is really hard, and especially ones that taste good. Of the dozens of high protein foods that I've tried, meats, bars, even my most recent regular protein cereal, Magic Spoon is the most satisfying option that I've ever had. I could have just said that it was one of the most satisfying, I didn't need to say it like that. 12 to 14 grams of protein for about 210 calories per serving is my golden standard for protein cereals. Magic Spoon has around 14 grams of protein at 140 calories, while somehow also tasting amazing without a single gram of sugar per serving. All the while remaining keto-friendly, grain-free, gluten-free, and soy-free. I've been a cereal connoisseur since day one, and Magic Spoon's changed the game for me even 9,000 days in. You can click the link below or go to magicspoon.com/starkraving to grab a variety pack and try it today, and be sure to use the promo code at checkout to get $5 off any order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. So click the link below or scan the QR code on screen and use the code STARKRAVING for $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/starkraving to save $5 today. A big thank you to Magic Spoon for sponsoring today's video. Last year's edition of the Pittsburgh Pirates lost 100 times. Not even a single time last year did they win more than 4 in a row. It took them almost 2 months of baseball, May 30th, for them to win 3 in a row. This year's team did it in about a week. The Pirates dropped 2 of 3 to the Reds in Cincinnati to start the year, then shipped up to Boston last week for 3 at Fenway, in a series that must have had Jared Carrabis looking like this. 3 first-inning runs for the Pirates and 3 first-inning homers for the Red Sox made it a 5-3 game early in Game 1. Enter current face of the Pirates, Bryan Reynolds. After homering just the day before in Cincinnati, Reynolds homers again for the 2nd straight day, already the 4th homer hit in this game in only an inning and a half. In the top of the 4th, the Pirates now leading by 1, Reynolds does it again. The 6th homer of the game at that point, the 2nd of the day for Reynolds, his 3rd in 2 days, and 1 of 5 that he's hit so far already this season. And he homered the next day too. The Pirates went on to win Game 1 7-6 and kicked off what turned into a pretty fun 3-game series for Pittsburgh. Since that game, Bryan Reynolds has been one of the best hitters in baseball to start the year. He's homered 5 times and driven in 14 in his first 12 games at the time of recording this, with an OPS over 1,000 and a league lead in total bases. Reynolds has had a great start to his career, but I'd say that this is probably the best he's ever looked. This past winter, Reynolds and the Pirates were close to an agreement on a long-term extension worth just north of $100 million before talks stalled, and there's still no word at this point on where discussions are headed next, if anywhere. And hey, I know this is meant to be a positive Pirates video, but anyone willing to stay in Pittsburgh for 7 years, I mean, come on, Bob. Transitioning back to Game 2 of that Boston series for a second, it's the bottom of the 8th inning. Manager Derek Shelton makes some defensive changes and moves his second baseman out to center field. Rafael Devers hits a shot toward the monster in left center, and this is what happened next.
Toward the wall, leaping up, and did he make the catch? Ji Hwan Bae! Gee whiz! What a catch!
That is rookie Ji Hwan Bae with one of the best catches you're going to see this year. That man is 6 months younger than me. For the first 7 innings of this game, Ji Hwan Bae was playing second base. Bae also plays the outfield, but I'd imagine going to center of all places after 7 innings at second base probably isn't too easy. Not even 2 batters later, and Bae is scaling the tallest wall in baseball. Now what if I told you that wasn't even the most significant thing he accomplished in this game? Let's flash back to the second inning.
In the air the other way, and boy, he's got some pop, doesn't he? Did that leave the yard? It did! His first career home run.
What proved to be the game-winning hit, his first career homer, and what may be the catch of the year, all in the same game. Pirates win 4-1.
Fly ball, center field, over, and the catch is made by Ji Hwan Bae, and he bangs up against the wall. Here to center field, Bae started back, and now a diving catch by Ji Hwan Bae! He's all over the place.
Remember, it took 2 months for last year's Pirates team to win 3 in a row, and they were on the verge of doing it in only a week of play this year. Mitch Keller shoves for 7 innings in Game 3, giving up a run and striking out 7, and Carlos Santana, yes, that Carlos Santana, hits the game-deciding homer in the 4th inning. Pirates win by the same score, 4-1. What took them almost 2 months of play last year took them a week this season. The Pirates had won 3 straight games. They also at this point have nearly as many 3-game sweeps as they had all of last season. In 2021, they had only 1, which was also their longest win streak of the entire year. Carlos Santana is only one of a handful of veteran players the Pirates have picked up this past offseason. Ji-Man Choi was another, former Tampa Bay Ray who put together some good seasons down south. Journeyman Rich Hill, who shoved in his last start and has a baseball reference page longer than your average college textbook. And last but certainly not least, former Pirates superstar Andrew McCutchen. I said earlier the Pirates haven't had a position player as good as Bryan Reynolds in some time. The last person to fit that bill was Andrew McCutchen. And he was even better. And how fitting that the former face of the franchise returns to Pittsburgh with a possible extension and changing of the guard looming for Bryan Reynolds. And to make things even more symbolic, something that I found out right before recording this actually, how did the Pirates acquire Bryan Reynolds? A trade with the Giants that sent Andrew McCutchen to San Francisco. Now while Reynolds is the best they've had since McCutchen, he still doesn't come anywhere close to where Andrew McCutchen was when he was a Pirate. It's easy to forget that at one point in his career, Andrew McCutchen was in the neighborhood of 3 consecutive NL MVP wins from 2012 to 2014. Though not the first for a Pittsburgh Pirate in the last 35 years. Definitely a shameless plug for our Barry Bonds series, which is out on the channel right now. In 2014, Andrew McCutchen was ranked the 4th best player in baseball by Bleacher Report, behind only Miguel Cabrera, Mike Trout, and Clayton Kershaw. He could hit for average, hit for power, run the bases well, play great defense, be a great teammate, and was a great force for good in Pittsburgh off the field as well. Pittsburgh loves Andrew McCutchen, and for good reason, and it showed in what was a really special moment last Friday in his return to Pittsburgh. McCutchen batted 3rd in the order, which was the same spot he batted in for his last game in Pittsburgh as a Pirate on September 27, 2017. And to top it all off, for what everyone knew was going to be a moment to remember, the umpires actually turned a blind eye to the pitch clock. They let him take his time. Take a listen. He also hit his first homer back last Monday, and to top it off, his mom was there to see it in person too.
It's this hard to right, near the wall, and there it goes! Andrew McCutchen! Homers here at PNC Park! Hey, Mom!
McCutchen's off to a good start so far with 10 hits and 9 walks in his first 31 at-bats, and he's even stolen 3 bases too. And honestly, I don't think there's a single baseball fan out there who isn't hoping, secretly or otherwise, for him to have a great year this year. So the Pirates took 2 of 3 in their opening series at home against the White Sox. They scored 13 runs on 19 hits in the opener, 3 from Reynolds and Bae, and a 4-for-5 day from an outfielder by the name of Connor Joe, who's been off to a tremendous start himself in his first 7 games this year. You've probably never heard of Connor Joe.
What's up, Pirates fans? It's Connor Joe.
Joe played with the Rockies for the first 2 years of his career. He had a good first season in what was only 60 games, and he became something of a folk hero to Rockies fans in the process. In February of 2020, a few weeks before the world had flipped upside down, Joe had announced on his Instagram page that he was diagnosed with testicular cancer during a routine spring training physical. He had left spring training camp to receive treatment just before baseball was shut down for the year. And thankfully, 5 months later, he was declared cancer-free, and he resumed his career with the Colorado Rockies right when baseball did as well the following season. Connor Joe is definitely a guy you want to root for, and I'll link a more detailed article in the description outlining his story that's well worth a read after this.
Top 10 things that only exist in America. Number 1.
Connor Joe. Chop toward third. Backhand play made, and how about that play? And bounced, and a fair ball and a long throw for Hayes. He got him! Oh, unbelievable! Bounce toward Hayes. Look at the pick. Oh, backhand pick like it's nothing. Down the line, Hayes with the grab, and they get an out on that.
I was able to make the play.
That's for the Bucks that you would end up playing for the Phillies. There's a nice backhand play, and a pick on the other end by Chavis.
I could do this all day.
So the Pirates found themselves 6-3 in their first 9 games, but were set to get their first real test of 2023, with the defending champion Houston Astros coming in for a 3-game set. And the only game I really want to talk about from this series was Game 2. The Pirates matched up against known psychic Jolly Olive's 2023 Cy Young pick Christian Javier. After homers from Alex Bregman and Kyle Tucker put Houston up by 2, Jack Sawinski hit a 2-run homer of his own to tie things up. Ji Hwan Bae homered for the second straight day in the 7th, and the Astros scored 2 to tie it in the top of the 9th. Winning run in scoring position in the bottom half, who steps up to the plate? Ji Hwan Bae.
Counts in this one. Out to right, Ji Hwan Bae homers to win it.
Look at that, baby!
The Young Bucks dethrone the champs tonight.
Art, I don't want to alarm you, but you can raise the Jolly Roger.
Now, at the time of watching this live, I was actually stuck on the side of the road in Queens when I was watching this, looking like Phil Brickma from Rookie of the Year. The Pirates wind up surviving Christian Javier and the Astros with a 7-4 win in walk-off fashion at home. With that homer, Ji Hwan Bae and Ji Hwan Bae actually became the first pair of Korean-born teammates to hit a home run in the same game, which is pretty cool. And speaking of, here's the Korean broadcast home run call if that last one didn't do it for you.
배지환! 오! 들어올렸습니다! 자, 크게 나와! 우주가! 넘어갔습니다! 배지환의 끝내기!
Sure, the Pirates got creamed by the Astros in 2 of the 3 games, but also, I mean, they won a game against the Houston Astros. I mean, that's a team that's leaps and bounds better than them in every way. The Houston Astros are the best team in the sport. Every other team is expected to drop 2 of 3 to them in a 3-game series. This Pirates team, following up an 8-2 stomping at home with a walk-off win against the defending champs and a pretty good reliever in Ryan Presley, who gave up only 4 homers in each of the last 2 seasons. I mean, come on now, that's pretty good for them. It's no secret that the Pirates have not been good for a while. Pirates fans, please close your ears for this next part. They traded away Garrett Cole, Tyler Glass, Joe Musgrove, Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen. They've been terrible the last few years. In spite of all of that, I think this is very much a team worth rooting for.
The Mets suck. Okay? From me, big time. Go Pirates!
The Pirates could very well implode tomorrow, and the fun can be gone for another few years just like that. Like I said before, literally the other day, when I was sitting down to write a section about O'Neal Cruz into this video, he fractures his ankle in a sliding collision against the White Sox. If that's not proof of that, I don't know what is. The fun can literally be gone in an instant, but that's also sort of the point. Baseball in Pittsburgh has been lifeless for too long, and everyone knows the Steelers are not helping with the quality of life in the city. So the point that I want you to take away from this video is, enjoy the fun while it lasts. Not just with this Pirates team, with your own favorite team, good or bad. The good times are never a guarantee. It's only 7 games, but every fan base deserves to have at least some fun during the season, especially a season as long and as demanding as Major League Baseball's. So honestly, screw the small sample. And with the league's newly expanded playoff format in full swing now, who's to say that the Pirates don't have a shot at a full season of fun in Pittsburgh this year? Hey everybody, so I'm recording this a little last minute. I was working on this video for about a week straight, and about 20 minutes before I was done editing it, I get a text from Mike, who sent me an article about Ji Hwan Bae. So Bae was convicted of domestic violence in South Korea a few years ago, and he received a punishment, if you can call it that. I don't think it was really much of a punishment at all. It was 30 games without pay, and what was the equivalent of probably around like 1,700-ish United States dollars. Believe it or not, this is not the first time a situation like this has happened for one of our projects this week, which is both crazy and scary to think about. I don't think this is really something that's well known by fans. I mean, if I was researching the Pirates and, their players for the last week and I didn't know about it, then I assume it's really not that commonly known amongst fans. Now, my point isn't to say that Ji Hwan Bae is the same person that he was when he committed this incident. I think these conversations are very important to have, especially with the platform that we have here at Stark Raving Sports. Bringing these stories out into the light, making sure that the victims in these situations are both seen and heard is important. Now, the 2023 Pirates are still a very fun team. This has not changed the main idea or thesis of this video at all. There are still a ton of players to root for on this team, but this story is beyond baseball, and I definitely would have regretted not saying anything about it. I linked an article down below in the description with more information about this story, so when you guys are done here, if you want to go get that information, follow the link in the description and read it for yourself. Thank you guys so much for watching to the end here. I really can't say how much I appreciate it. I know, like I said, these aren't the most fun conversations to have, but they are very important. I love you all very much, and I'll see you next time.